The number of Republican candidates that are dropping out of this presidential race. For many of us, that's raising a lot of questions about primary ballot voters, who's going to be receiving and what they're going to be voting on. What do you do when those names are on there? So this is senior reporter Brett Forrest joining us this morning with an update on all of that.
Yeah, Bree. So the Secretary of State has already certified those ballots that for our March 5th primary, which is Super Tuesday, when 16 states are holding those primary elections. And in just under 3 weeks, those ballots are already being mailed out to Colorado voters. So when those in the Republican Party receive their ballots, it will look something like this. But of course, over half of these names have now dropped out of the race, including businessman Vivek Ramaswamy, Arkansas Governor Asa Hutchinson, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie, most recently Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, and of course remaining frontrunner, former President Donald Trump and former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley. So what happens now if a Colorado voter decides to still mark the ballot for one of those who've dropped out? Well, here's El Paso County GOP Party Chair Vicki Tompkins.
Just know that if you do vote for a person who has dropped out, while that vote would be counted, it cannot go forward simply because they're no longer a viable candidate.
And so, Bree, we also spoke to the El Paso County clerk and recorder, and he says you don't get do-overs, meaning if you get your ballot and you vote early and then that candidate happens to drop out, you cannot submit another ballot. They said people have tried to do that in the past, and so they're expecting a busy election day with people maybe holding out in case any other candidates like Nikki Haley perhaps drop out before our March 5th election.
And then the other big question that's looming right now is what about Donald Trump and the upcoming Supreme Court decision on whether or not he's actually going to stay on the Colorado ballot?
Yeah, big question on everyone's mind across the country. So we don't know when that ruling will come down from the Supreme Court. We're hoping and expecting before our March 5th primary, of course, but the El Paso County GOP chair says they're taking steps to immediately hold a caucus, if that were the case, so that Colorado's 37 delegates can go to who they want it to go to, and they would kind of move themselves out of that primary.